broken, it's mine, and it needs fixing, so we're going to demonstrate that it's broken. And it doesn't broken and work. The parts are broken, so we fix it for my personal challenge.
So you're going to learn how it works.
Yep.
You're going to take it apart.
Yep.
You're going to find out what's wrong.
Yep.
You're going to replace the parts and put it back together.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if we can fix it. Stop it making this horrible noise.
The motor drives the gearbox, and the gearbox, or the power from the motor and the gearbox turns the gears, which drives the prop shaft, which goes to the differential, which drives the axle, which moves the wheels.
Okay, and what do we think that noise might be, that horrible noise it's making?
The gears slipping apart and not really together, so it's making some loud noises of the gears of the teeth slipping.
So what should we do?
We should probably replace the gears. We lost a bit of the prop shaft as well, so we need to put that bit back in.
Okay. So do we know which gear it is that's making the noise?
It's either the big one or the little one. We don't know yet.
Okay, so there are lots of different gears in there, and we don't know which one's broken. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay, so what are we going to do then to find out which one's broken?
We're going to open up the gearbox and look at them.
And where else are there gears? Apart from in the gearbox, where else are there gears?
In the motor?
Yeah, there's one on the end of the motor we should check as well.
Yep.
Where else?
In the differential.
In the differential. There's gears in there as well. So
places to check.
So before we open it up, how could we start? How could we narrow it down to where the problem is? We know this prop shaft is broken.
Yep.
So it isn't going to be the front differential because that's not being driven by the gearbox at the moment. That's just freewheeling. So it's not the front. What else could we do without taking it apart? How could we determine which gear is causing the problem?
Don't exactly know.
What about where the sound's coming from?
Yep. Look at where the sound's coming from.
Okay, so I mean, presumably you'll be able to hear if it's coming from the differential versus coming from the gearbox or coming from the motor. Probably these will sound very close together, but you might be able to tell whether it's this end or this end, right?
Yeah.
So, why don't you get the controller, start it, I'll hold it still, and then you see if you can work out where that horrible noise is coming from.
Do this.
You could do that too, yeah.
I'll check for a minute. Doesn't sound very good down there.
It doesn't, and it sounds a bit different to when it's down on the ground. So try again.
It's definitely somewhere up here now.
You think?
From like up here.
Okay. Put your ear down near the differential.
Oh crikey!
It's quite loud down the back there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the problem might be in that differential.
Yeah.
So maybe. What do you think we should do? If we think it might be in there, what should we do?
Probably open up the differential.
Maybe we take the differential apart first and see if the problem's in there.
Yeah, or if it's not, put that back together.
Yeah.
And we'll open up these two.
Open up the gearbox and the motor, see what's
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
Alright, so Edison's got some tools, he's got some screwdrivers, etc. And so now he's going to try and work out how to take this apart.
Which way is it?
Lefty loosey.
Lefty loosey.
Pack number 2 down there.
Can you hold this? Nope.
Keep going a bit more then till the nut drops off.
Oh, it dropped off.
Brilliant.
Great.
Yes. Good job. Right, what are you going to do with the nut?
Right, put them in there with those.
What you could do for when there are places, bolts that you can screw them back onto, if you put them back on where you got them off, then you won't lose them, and you will also know where they went, right?
Yeah.
Because if you put all the nuts in here in that one pot, you will have difficulty remembering which one went where, won't you? So Edison has decided that in order to get access to this differential, he's going to drop it from the chassis. So he's going to remove the spring from its mounting at the top by unscrewing it on both sides and dropping that down. That's the first place. Okay, next Edison has decided that he's going to remove this screw from this top brace. So that's one of the other things he thinks is holding this diff on. Good job. Oh, that's looking better too, isn't it? That's coming apart a bit more.
It just came out like that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to put that screw that you just took out.
This one.
Yeah.
It's stuck in there.
If it's stuck in there, good. So you're not going to lose it then, are you? Oh, no, maybe it's not stuck in there. Looks a bit loose. No, you don't need to screw it in. Right, Edison's decided he's removing these lower suspension arm screws next. What can you see? Look inside it.
Can't see anything.
Looking from where I'm looking, and turn the screw again. What can you see?
It's turning.
It's turning. What does that mean?
It's not coming out.
Yep, agreed. What should we do so that we can unscrew that?
Use the pliers.
Use the pliers, excellent. So we'll grab hold of the middle bit with one hand and a pair of pliers and unscrew it with the other hand. Good lad, well done. Need to grip hard with those pliers to stop it from turning. Right, I'll help you by gripping with the pliers.
Yep.
Right, I've got it really hard. Go for it. Gentle, nice and straight.
It's turning.
Yeah, you undoing it? Yes, that's coming undone, isn't it?
That's a rusty screw.
It is a rusty screw. That's all the time it's spent inside puddles. Edison's now decided that he's going to remove this steering tie next at both ends so that he can then get the hub and the swivel off together using that screw.
That's that one.
Okay, there's one. Push it down nice and hard as well to break that seal. And straight. Also breathe. Never forget to breathe. Good job. Okay.
That's come off now.
Alright, good.
Wibbly wobbly.
So what should we do next?
Well, that's wibbly wobbly as well.
Yeah, the swivel is wibbly wobbly. So this axle is exactly the same as the one that is on the front. But on the front, the steering tie isn't attached to the chassis, so you can turn the wheels. Yeah, see? On the back, to stop it steering from the rear, they've simply
attached it to that.
attached it to the diff case here, haven't they?
Because it's only steering.
Because it doesn't steer at the back. So this is a front axle that's been immobilised at the rear instead. So what do you want to take off then? What do you want to take off next?
That. There.
Okay, for convenience, should we try and get this out of the way?
Yeah, I'll probably take that off.
Good lad, well done. So Edison's now decided that this suspension clamp that goes round the diff is the next thing to come off. Nice and straight, can't do it wonky.
I'm trying, I can't see.
I know, it takes some practice. Push down hard.
It's not working.
Nice screwdriver action.
There we go.
Bingo. Right, take that last bit of that clamp off. Just pop it up, it'll be slightly, just pop it up with your fingers. There you go. Right, diff is clear. So what do we do next? Screws, put these screws back so you don't lose them.
Yep.
You've got 4 screws that you've taken out. You'll find them all. We're going to put them back where we got them out so that we don't lose any. Right. So we've decided to take these hubs and swivels off next. Why have we decided that?
So that will go in half.
Yeah.
So we can.
So you've seen Edison spotted this line down the middle of the diff case, and he thinks that means it will split down the middle. So we're gonna take these screws off, and then we're gonna see if it splits. He's getting a bit frustrated with these screws. It's very hard to keep the screwdriver straight.
Rusty.
He needs to learn how to use the screwdriver really well, which he's doing.
This was really easy. Screws are a bit rusty.
Good. Does it come off now? The hub and the swivel? No, I need to use 2 hands. Give it a try. Your eyes look really funny. Okay, stop there. Before you break it. We'll have... No, that's not going to help you. That's not going to help you. Right, well, what do you think we might do then? We might need to put something... What could we do? We could put a lever in here, couldn't we?
Yeah.
And we could try and... no, it's more than that. Maybe lever it off that way. But let's get the other 2 screws out the other side and then we'll look and see what you think you should do.
We could use this one, Daddy.
Is it going to fit in? No, it's too small. So Edison's guess was right. These swivels and hubs do come off at the end. So now we've removed those screwdrivers, he can just pull that one off. Ugh. Oh, and what's that inside?
Something.
You know what word that is? What is it?
A blocker? I don't know.
What goes along inside this and connects the 2 wheels together?
An axle.
Axle. That is, well,
Is that oil?
yes, grease on the end, yeah. So we would call that a half shaft, right? It's a half of a prop shaft. Oh yeah, look, he's found there's another one. Right, 2 half shafts. So if you can imagine inside,
it's gonna be a bit greasy.
they go, one's in there and one's in there.
It's gonna be a
like
bit
that.
greasy.
And they are slotting into the differential that's in here, yeah?
And a whole ton of grease.
And a whole ton of grease. All right. Now we're going to talk about... We now need to talk about how we're going to get the rest of this apart then. So...
We found out all the bits we need to replace, and we've got the shopping list, and we need these differential gears, bearings, prop shaft, shim washers, grease, and suspension cross brace.
Okay. So where are we going to buy all these things, Eds? Or where are you going to buy all these things?
Don't exactly know yet.
Where should we start looking, do you think?
Don't know. So many shops.
What sort of shop might sell these parts?
Nasty shop.
Nasty shop? What does that mean?
RC.
Oh, RC shop, radio controlled shop. Yeah, okay. A model shop that sells radio controlled cars would be a good place to look. What would be another option? Where do we look for everything these days?
Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Or Google or eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go. Because most of these RC shops will be online, right? They will. They'll have web shops that we can go to and look for the parts that we need.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's go do some Googling.
Yeah. Between eBay and Wheelspin, we found every single part we need
So,
on eBay.
you found the washers, you found everything that's on your list.
This
We've
one's
got it
actually
in our shopping cart. What's in your shopping
This
cart,
one's
Ed?
German.
So if you click on the shopping cart up here, do it.
Here.
It's all right, just be patient. So we found washers. What else have we found? Bearings
Bearings and
and some grease.
race.
And then we've got some more parts on Wheelspin models. We've got everything on the list. So we're going to buy those items and wait for them to arrive. And once they've arrived,
So Daddy, do I press go to check out? Right now.
Very, very soon. Right, so what are you doing, Eds?
I'm getting this clip out.
What's it called?
Forgot its name.
Grub screw.
Grub screw and the grub screw up.
And with the grub screw out, you can take off what? What is this bit you're taking off and
Prop
why?
shaft.
Prop shaft. The old prop shaft or the new prop shaft?
The old one.
Old one, right. So, careful.
Give it my screwdriver.
Grub screw stuck on the end. Okay, no, don't wreck it. We need it, don't we? Need to put that grub screw back in.
Okay.
There you go. Right, where are you going to put it so you don't lose it?
Again.
Well, hang on. But if you put it back in, you won't be able to take the prop shaft off, will you?
I can put it in.
Here.
You've got... No, we don't put little things lying around on shelves, do we? Because we lose them. What have we got for retaining little things? That could do, or we've got the little one as well there. But yeah, if you want to put it in there, at least then you won't lose it, will you? Right, so...
Turn it around.
Is it off now?
Oh, that's the whole thing. Yeah. For sure.
Go on then, take it off.
It came off.
Brilliant. Right, so prop shaft is off.
So that should go in there like that.
We'll do that in a minute. Put that to one side, put it in there. Alright, so what's next? So that's step 3 of your instructions that came with the part.
Step 4 is on the
Step-
other.
Can't lean on it.
Ah.
Okay, so we've just hit it a bit harder. Now the old bearing has come off the...
From here, just little.
What is that it's come off of? Where's that part, the long bit?
Is the accent cable.
Yeah, it's a half shaft.
Yeah, half shaft.
Okay, let's go and reassemble.
Yep. Wait, there's another one inside of it.
So there's a little gear in there.
Yeah.
And there's some more little gears on a shaft in here.
Yeah.
Okay, which one are we changing, Kev?
This one.
The big one?
Yeah.
So what do the instructions say about swapping it out?
There should be some washers. There isn't.
Is there or isn't there? Where should the washers be?
Oh, behind that gear,
Uh-huh.
Can't see much, you know. Because I can't see it. How do I take it apart, though? Maybe take off all the rays off.
So we've now got the old diff gear here on the left and the new one on the right, and we can clearly see now just how
Should I put some
worn...
grease on there?
Yeah, do it. You can clearly see now just how worn the old one is.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
teeth are
it's
totally the
clear.
wrong shape. All worn compared to the nice squared flat teeth of...
Do the whole thing.
Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. You only need a tiny bit. You just need a tiny bit of grease.
Like that.
That's good. Rag. Right, so now Edison is going to reassemble the diff.
I'm putting that in there like this.
And before he reassembles them, he's going to check that he hasn't left anything out.
You have to match this. Oh yeah, I forgot that.
Oh yeah. Whoops.
Whoopsie.
You've got a picture here. Always look at the instructions carefully. It tells you exactly what order everything's assembled in, okay? Good boy. So all 4 screws are going in finger tight first. Why?
So we know everything's in line, and then we'll do them up tighter.
Remember what I said? Get your hand up here. Get your elbow up above that screwdriver so that it's straight. Good. Better. Okay, so diff reassembled, Eds.
Yes.
New gear on it.
Yep.
Oh,
Ow. It meshes really good with the other one.
nice. Really well, not really good. Okay, next step then. What's next? We've got some instructions. We're going to move on.
Bearings.
Bearings and
Washers.
half shafts.
And washers.
Okay. So
I
we
mean, I've
found the
got-
extra washers that we're supposed to fit. They came in the pack. With the gears. Ed's just got them. He's fitting those on. That's 2 washers either side. And that means we can put that bearing back on. Okay. Maybe just push it down hard.
Oh. Can't get him up.
Rather than whacking it randomly.
What? I thought that would work.
Push it. Put it down flat on the table. Put some weight on it. Wrong side. Turn it over. Use the table. That's it. Push hard on that side. All your weight. Okay.
Ah, it just has my hand. Still comes off easily.
Okay. Right, we'll have to have a think about that. We might use the hammer to whack it down. Let's have a look.
Yeah.
Okay, so the half shaft is not keeping that bearing in place. What about where the diff sits in the case? Have a look at that.
Yeah.
You got that the right way round?
Yeah. Look.
Oh, so there's a little plastic ring there, isn't there? They sit up
Yeah.
against that ring and that will stop it from coming apart.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's good.
So we don't actually need to stick it on there in any way. The casing is designed to stop the bearings from sliding off, isn't it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Onwards with the instructions. So before we put a bearing back on the half shafts, we're gonna. Edison's now just going to sandpaper back these bearing seats here. This one's quite good, but the other one's quite rusty, where the water got in, and so he's
Sanding those back to make sure they're smooth so that the bearing sits nicely, doesn't get stuck in position again.
A bit better.
Bit better. Keep going till you're happy. Grease time. So prop shaft's cleaned up. Edison's putting grease on the half shaft before he fits the bearing. And he's covering the bearing in grease as well to try and prevent water ingress from letting it go rusty.
And we got here one coming.
Anywhere where moving parts meet, we're going to put in grease. Okay, I think you've done that nicely.
Grease it all up.
So put the two half shafts next to each other. Okay, now the last thing we do before we put them into the diff is we'll put a little dab of grease on the other end as well, because they're gonna, yeah. So all you need to do,
This much.
yep, that's right, just a tiny amount, and then put it straight in the diff to avoid the grease going anywhere. Just get it all the way around, not just on the tip, but all the way around. That's it, good, really good. Now shove it in the diff. Careful of that loose bearing. Nice, okay. Now the other half shaft. If you want, you can just dip it in the end there. Dip, dip. Oh, he's lost a half shaft on the carpet. Nice. Okay.
It's that out running.
Excellent. Now we're going to put it straight in the diff case. Does it go in that one or does it go in the other one? Because one half is the cover and one half is not. So we're going to consult the instructions again now and pause. That might be a bit difficult to get in that one because it took us...
Let's put it in.
Oh, it just slipped in nicely. Right, okay.
It just slipped in nicely. I just slips in nicely like that.
Because we've bashed the old one out. It's a bit loose now. All right, and final drive gear.
Where did I put that?
Where have you put that?
Where did I put that? Oh, Danny.
Down there.
Put it in there. Get in there.
So that worked.
Yep, it's in.
Has it come through the other side?
Nope. Ah!
No, I think
Now
it has
it
to
has.
go. That hole has to go out quite a bit further. That hole has to poke out for the to attach onto the prop shaft. So we need to see that shaft poking out.
She's coming out.
Okay, looks like we're gonna have a little bit of a fiddle.
Yes, we might be having a little bit of a bill. Stay.
Oh,
Oh, we did it!
does that look good?
Now does it look good, Daddy?
That looks better, doesn't it? Now we've got something. Stop waving it around. Show the camera. Now we've actually got something we can attach the prop shaft to there, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've got the gear in its nice position.
Right. Oh, don't fall out, don't fall out.
Forget the plastic. Just pick up the
Whole thing.
whole.
And do that.
Okay, we're going to need to put a bit more grease in where those two gears meet, though, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. Put some grease in here.
Right.
Oh, that.
Remember, it's the teeth that are touching. It's the teeth that you need to put grease on, not the little black plastic.
Well, I was going to touch the black plastic.
No, it's not. There's nothing touching the back plastic. You've got one gear underneath
Okay.
touching the teeth.
Yeah.
Just a little, that's loads now. Just make sure it's in those teeth.
I'll just put some more in there.
Now it will gradually work its way into the teeth. Yeah, I think you can do a bit better at getting some more in the teeth there, can't you?
Over here, yeah. Okay.
Okay, now I think you should spin it a few times to make sure So the gear underneath is now getting greased, and it will grease
It's moving,
gradually.
Daddy. It moves really well.
Yeah, it does. Does it feel smooth?
Yeah, I can't.
Okay. And so now both of the gears should be covered in. And look, can you see how some of the grease isn't really in the teeth there? It's on top of the teeth, but not between them.
Yeah.
So we might want to find a way to push some grease into those teeth. It's going to be a bit hard with your fingers because the gap's small. Maybe we can use a screwdriver or something.
Or something. How about this?
Good. So the diff is back together. Everything's greased up. We've got new bearings and new gears. Edison's now screwing the back half of the disc case back on. Keep that down pressure to stop it skipping.
Esme, where are you?
Although remember, just a little bit.
Filming.
That's not really the right screwdriver for the job, Edison. Can you feel how it's a little bit small?
Yeah.
So let's find the right screwdriver for the job, which is a PH2. Can you find a PH2?
Here.
Yeah.
Put
Wait,
that in the
that is
screwdriver.
PH2.
Yeah, it looks right, yeah. You should find that's a lot easier. Does that feel better?
Yeah. Look at it, Daddy. I'm going much faster.
So if you find your screwdriver is skipping, you always want to check that you've got the right sized screwdriver for the job. Push down a little bit harder, get that elbow above it. So the diff case is back together and working, and now Edison is trying to assemble one half of the prop shaft using a very tiny grub screw.
We put the grub screw inside of the prop shaft, so the prop shaft is attached. And if I spin the half axles,
Half shaft.
they spin the prop shaft.
Hooray! So we're happy that the diff and the axle is now working.
Yes.
So now we're going to put it back in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Esme, get out.
Get your elbow in line with the screwdriver. Oh, that's better.
What do we do? Confused.
Well,
Stuck.
you could compare to the other axle to see what that looks like. That will probably help you answer how it goes
Oh,
back
no.
together.
Okay. Yeah, Daddy, it covers this bit.
So that has to go in
Oh, I
there.
found it.
What did you find?
Look, Daddy. It's
Yeah.
kind of little slots.
Ah. So there's a locating lug and a slot, and they have to line up for it to go in properly.
And that's not working because the D.
Before you try and jam it, maybe investigate a little bit more closely to see is there anything, any reason why, not right now, is there any reason why it's not sliding in easily?
There's these bobbly bits.
Just look at the parts that you're trying to slide together.
It's a bit too wide. It's a bit too wide.
Take that wheel hub off again. Have a look at it. What are you trying to do?
Make that go onto there. Make that line like this bit.
Yeah. Okay, good.
just don't know how to do that. I can see a big circle in there, which I think. Why is there still a ball bearing here? On the other side.
There we go.
Oh, that's
It's clicked. Why don't you put the half shaft and the bearing in first?
Rather than bearing first, yeah. If I can get it out. Got it?
Right.
Yep, got it.
Okay, so now your half shaft's back in the right side, not the wrong side. Will that slide on?
I think you might have to get the half shaft in this little bobbly bit in here.
Yeah, indeed. You've got to get lined up, haven't you, before it will slide on.
The screws are in the way.
Ah, so maybe we'll have to take those
Just take the
screws
off. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, good.
Don't worry, I got a bit rusty on the top, but still, it comes out. There's that. Right now.
Let's have another go.
Have another go. Still nothing.
Okay, probably just need a lot more pushing and wiggling. I think you've done everything right now. Just needs a lot more alignment and pushing and wiggling. You look at it and you tell me where it's meant to go.
Should be facing
Manipulate.
like this. And then should be going here. No, it's the other way around, isn't it? Like this. Should be going like this.
Yep. Close.
Here. It's like this. It's like this.
Okay, so you've got this bit hanging out over the back of the car, have you?
Oh,
Gets hot, turns to.
like this. Or are we going over? Or upside down? I don't know.
Well, keep manipulating it and trying different things until you do know. You're going to look at the instructions. What a good idea.
Upside down. I so this is this way round. Oh, that would have been so silly.
So go on then. Dry fit it. Where will it go?
Actually, don't even just spin it around. Start off with number 2, it says. I'm going to put this up there. That's annoying me. Take this out. Or do we have to just screw it, Daddy? Like this. I think I'll just...
Hang on a minute. Just let me stop you. Look again. Where do you... How many screw holes are there on that part?
1, 2, 3.
Right. So if you put that one in there, where are the other two going?
Yes.
Yeah, what about the third one? Where's that one go?
I don't know.
You're incredibly close. You just got to turn it round.
Like this.
No.
No, that can't screw up there.
Where is it supposed to... Where is the screw that goes through that?
There.
Yep.
like that. What? I don't understand.
You're not turning it around enough. Turn it around a different way. Turn it around a different way. No, don't stop. Keep rotating it. Hooray!
Simply like that.
Yes. Okay, so Edison's decided that the next thing he needs to do is to put the other half of the prop shaft, the half that attaches to the gearbox, and so he's now trying to get the grub screw down into that prop shaft. And having
Why is it
some
not going
difficulty.
in? Is it going the wrong way?
No, you're not turning it the wrong way.
Oh no, I know what's happened again. It's out of line.
Huh. Can you see down in it? Does it look lined up?
Now it does.
It might just be that you need to put a little bit of down pressure as well to get that thread started. With all your fingers in the way, the camera can't. There we go. Is that working now? Yeah, it looks like it's going in now. I hold that for you.
It's going right off now.
Okay, good.
Switch sides.
Use the other end of the key. What happens when you turn the key this way around?
Makes it easier.
Because
I forgot.
begins with L.
Leverage.
Leverage, yes. Okay, good. Okay, right, so we're ready to assemble this subframe and the axle.
And everything.
So where's it going to go? Go for it.
I think we may have to undo these.
Okay, good. Yeah, they probably need undoing too. Just try to remember that it came apart in bits. We didn't take all 5, screws off at once, and so it can go back in bits. You can do one thing at a time.
Just move that to the side for a minute.
So are all those screws that you've used taken off 5 screws ready to reassemble? Are they all the same size?
4 of them are.
4 of them are.
So I should probably keep these right there.
Okay. And the other one's what? Longer? One of them's longer. Which
These
one's...
2 are the same, and this one's really extremely long.
So where does that long one go? Just so you don't forget. It's all right.
In there.
In there. Okay, so the long one goes in there and the other 4 are all the same.
Yeah.
Right, come on then. Go for it. Let's get that sub-assembly on. What are we doing? Which one first?
Ah,
Doing springs first or...
springs. So, you're not gonna.
Okay, top tip here. The
it
awkward
this way
thing.
around?
The awkward thing is going to be. Does that look like the right way around?
Yes. No.
No. Right. So. This is where it's usually a good idea to plan a little bit ahead. So stop there for a moment. If you screw those 2 in, what are you going to do next?
Try and do the pop shaft.
Okay, but you've just screwed those in.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We can't do that. Right, so
No,
not do that first. prop shaft first. Okay, what are you going to do next?
Now we're going to attach this.
Okay. So let's say you've attached that. What are you going to do after that?
It came out. I'm going to check if there's any screws for this one. Ah! This
Okay.
is so frustrating.
I'm going to help you now.
Yeah.
So, after some discussion, Edison, what order did we decide to do things in?
We decided to do the prop shaft,
Yep.
then this bit at the bottom,
Okay.
then we decided to do the cross brace.
Yep.
Then
Because.
now we're doing the springs.
So why did we do the cross brace last in the end
Or
then?
third.
Or third?
Because, well, if we did it before the prop shaft, we'd have trouble getting the prop shaft together.
Yeah. So we learned about thinking a little bit forward.
Yep.
Think about what your next job is. What would it make most sense to do first? So now what we've got to do is put the springs and shock absorbers back on. So there's two parts to this, isn't there? You've got a spring.
I know.
And there's the shock absorber inside.
Here we go.
Okay.
Let me just test that.
So turning it back over, can you see now why the prop shaft is in two parts
Yeah.
and why it slides? Because look what happens as we do that. Can you see? It's a very small amount, but you can just see the length of the prop shaft is changing, isn't
It's
it?
getting longer. That's
Longer
clever.
and shorter. And so that when you have that amount of suspension travel, you need that adjustable length prop shaft.
So we're going to be going like
And
this.
that is exactly how it works on real cars as well. On not smaller road cars with very little suspension travel don't usually use that, but a big four-wheel drive like this, which has a lot of suspension travel. And what do you think suspension travel is?
Going up and out.
Yeah, how far the suspension moves up and down. So on cars with a lot of suspension travel, you need that length adjustment in the prop shaft for it to work.
Still, one thing we have to do, we have to
What's
fix
that?
this one.
Ah, yes. So we've got a broken prop shaft on the front. So next thing we're going to do is use the parts off the old prop shaft from the back and transfer them to the front so that we've got two working prop shafts.
Yeah, and we're going to have to take these out to put the new cross brace in.
And we'll replace this bent cross brace with its missing middle spars here. Came without these, and as a result of it being these not being present on the front, we've had a lot of sticks and stuff getting in here and wrecking this prop shaft. So we've bought an additional cross brace from the back and we're going to fit it to the front, and then these won't be bent anymore, and hopefully that will protect this one on the front too.
Yep.
Okay, so what's the update, Edison?
Well, we fixed the prop shaft and everything,
Yeah.
and now we're just putting the wheels back on the head, which I'll show you in the next video. We'll show you what it looks like fully rebuilt next.
And what are we going to do then? We're going to test it, I guess.
Test it out, yeah. Yep, we're finished, and next I'm going to go take it outside to test it.
It's huge, Edison.
I know.
Look at the size of it. It's enormous. Awesome.
We tested the car, it works now. Watch it. Now we're going to get it set up for this stunt we made.
So you're happy that your fix has worked?
Yes. Watch it. Now. Wheelie.
Wheelie tastic! Bonk.
Yeah. It's working.
Thumbs up.
Ready?
Yeah, sit down where you. Woohoo!